People are showing up to cruise terminals in 2026 with everything paid for, bags packed, passports in hand, and still being turned away. Not because they broke a rule, not because they were late, but because of a digital check-in mistake they didn't even know existed. In just the last few months, hundreds of passengers have watched their ships sail away while they stood at the terminal refreshing an app that already decided their fate. And here's the scary part. Many of them were experienced cruisers who thought check-in worked the same way it always had. But in 2026, cruise check-in has changed completely. New facial recognition rules, stricter document checks, silent app rejections, and hard 24-hour cutoffs are causing chaos at embarkation. And there is often no human override when the system says no. Today, I'm breaking down the new 2026 cruise check-in rules that are catching passengers off guard, the exact mistakes getting people denied boarding, and what you must do differently now if you don't want to miss your cruise before it even begins. Stay to the end, because the final rule is the one even loyal cruisers are still getting wrong. Number 1. Digital check-in is no longer optional. In 2026, digital check-in is no longer something you can skip and fix at the port. If your check-in isn't fully completed and approved before you arrive, you simply don't board. That's the rule now. This is catching a lot of cruisers off guard because for years, staff could help fix small issues at the terminal. That safety net is gone. The first checkpoint scans your details digitally, and if the system doesn't show approved, you're stopped right there. What makes this worse is that many people think starting check-in is enough. It isn't. You can upload documents, answer questions, and still not be approved. If the app hasn't fully cleared you, the ship does not wait. In 2026, the computer decides, not the person standing in front of you. And if you assume check-in works the same way it did on your last cruise, this is exactly how people are missing their sailings. Number 2. Facial recognition is quietly rejecting passengers. This is one of the biggest reasons people are being stopped at the terminal in 2026. Facial recognition is now built directly into cruise check-in, and it's far less forgiving than people expect. Many passengers think their photo was accepted because the app lets them move on. But behind the scenes, the system can still flag it as a mismatch. Glasses, shadows, bad lighting, hair covering part of your face, or even a slight smile can cause a silent failure. The worst part is that you often don't get a clear warning. Everything looks fine until your details are scanned at embarkation, and suddenly you're pulled aside while everyone else keeps moving. If your selfie doesn't closely match your passport photo, the system doesn't care how long you've been cruising or how loyal you are. It simply says no. In 2026, your face has to pass the system before you're allowed to step on the ship. Number 3. Incomplete health declarations are triggering automatic holds. A lot of cruisers are getting caught by this one because it feels harmless. During digital check-in, people skip questions they think don't apply to them, or leave optional sections blank, assuming it won't matter. In 2026, it absolutely does. The system treats any unanswered question as incomplete, and incomplete forms are automatically flagged. That flag can stop your entire check-in from being approved, even if everything else looks correct. What makes this dangerous is that many passengers never receive a clear warning. They assume they're good to go, arrive at the terminal, and only then find out their health declaration was never fully accepted. Even if the answer is no, none, or not applicable, it must be selected. Leaving anything blank can be enough to stop you from boarding. This is one of the easiest mistakes to avoid, and one of the most common reasons people are being denied in 2026. Number 4, passport photo uploads are failing for tiny mistakes. This one is catching people who swear they did everything right. The problem isn't that they didn't upload their passport, it's how they uploaded it. In 2026, cruise line systems are extremely strict about passport photos. If even one corner is cropped, if there's glare from a light, shadows from your phone, or the image is slightly angled, the system can't read it properly and quietly rejects it. A lot of people also upload the wrong page. The cover doesn't count. Visa pages don't count. It has to be the photo information page with your picture, name, passport number, and expiration date clearly visible. What makes this worse is that the app often doesn't clearly say it failed. Everything looks fine until embarkation day, when the system finally stops you. Something as small as bad lighting or a missing corner is now enough to keep you off the ship. Number 5. Name mismatches are now a hard stop. In 2026, your cruise booking name must match your passport exactly. Not close. Not almost. Exactly. This is catching people over missing middle names, hyphens, double last names, or small spelling differences they've cruised with for years without any issue. The system doesn't guess. It doesn't assume. If the names don't match perfectly, your check-in can be rejected automatically. Many passengers don't realize there's a problem because everything looks fine in the app. They only find out at the terminal when their details won't scan properly and staff can't override it. Once you're inside that final window before sailing, fixing a name mismatch is often impossible. That's also why. That's why experienced cruisers are suddenly being denied for something that never mattered before. In 2026, The system doesn't care who you are. It only cares if the names match letter for letter. Number 6. Passport expiration rules are stricter than most people realize. This one is fooling even experienced cruisers. In 2026, it's not enough for your passport to be valid during the cruise. It must be valid for at least 6 months after the cruise ends. A lot of passengers check their passport, see that it's fine for the sailing dates, and assume they're safe. They're not. If your passport expires too soon after the return date, the system can block approval before you ever reach the ship. What makes this worse is how long renewals now take. Standard processing can stretch for weeks, and by the time people realize there's a problem, it's already too late. This rule alone has caused cruisers to be denied boarding, even though their passport was technically still valid. In 2026, if your passport doesn't cover the cruise and the months after it, the ship isn't waiting. Number 7. Real ID confusion is still getting people turned away. This one keeps happening because people think all driver's licenses are treated the same. They aren't. For certain closed-loop cruises, you can use a driver's license instead of a passport, but only if it's a real ID-compliant license. That little star on the license matters. No star means no boarding without a passport. Many passengers don't check until embarkation day. They assume their license is fine because it works for flights or other travel. At the terminal, they're told it doesn't qualify and there's nothing staff can do. This mistake hits first-time cruisers hard, but it's also catching repeat cruisers who haven't updated their ID in years. In 2026, guessing isn't good enough. If you're not using a passport, your ID has to be exactly the right one, or you're not getting on the ship. Number 8, the 24-hour cutoff is unforgiving. In 2026, digital check-in doesn't just have a deadline. It has a hard stop. Once you hit the final 24 hours before sailing, the system closes. No late submissions. No quick fixes at the port. A lot of people think doing check-in the night before is fine. It isn't. Even if you submit just inside the window, approvals can take 24 to 48 hours. If your approval doesn't come through in time, the ship sails without you. This is why people show up thinking they're good, only to be told their check-in is still pending, and pending means denied. Cruise lines are recommending check-in as soon as it opens, usually 30 days before sailing. Waiting until the last minute is no longer risky. It's almost guaranteed trouble. In 2026, missing this window can cost you your entire cruise. Number 9. Set Sail Pass access failures are causing terminal chaos. In 2026, your Set Sail Pass isn't just a formality. It's scanned multiple times before you ever step on the ship. And if you can't access it instantly, everything stops. Many passengers rely on the cruise line app or their email, assuming they'll have internet at the terminal. Then the app won't load, Wi-Fi is overloaded, or their phone battery dies. Suddenly, they're fumbling while lines back up behind them. What makes this worse is that some people never actually download the pass at all. They assume the email is enough. It isn't. Staff need the QR code itself, and they need it fast. The smartest cruisers are screenshotting the QR code, saving it to their phone for offline access, and printing a backup copy just in case. In 2026, if your Set Sail Pass isn't ready when it's needed, the terminal becomes your worst nightmare. Before we get to number 10, if you've watched this far, you're already avoiding mistakes most cruisers don't even know exist. And at the very end of this video, I've added a few extra tips that can actually make your next cruise smoother and more enjoyable, not just at check-in, but once you're on board too. All right, let's get to the final one. Number 10. There is often no human override when the system says no. This is the part most cruisers don't realize until it's too late. In 2026, when the digital system flags your check-in as incomplete or unapproved, terminal staff usually can't override it, even if they want to. People assume a supervisor can fix it. They can't. The decision has already been made by the system before you ever reach the counter. If the status isn't approved, you're stopped, and the ship continues boarding without you. That's why passengers are watching their cruise sail away while trying to fix things on their phones. Not because they broke a rule, but because the computer already locked them out. Until cruise lines improve communication and backup procedures, this is the reality of digital embarkation. In 2026, when the system says no, it often means no, permanently. All right, before you click away, these next tips aren't about avoiding denial. They're about making your next cruise smoother, calmer, and way less stressful. These are simple things most cruisers don't do, but once you know them, you'll never cruise the same way again. Let's get into the bonus tips. Bonus tip 1. Do a final approval check 48 hours before travel. Even after you've been approved, log back into the cruise line app about 2 days before you leave. Make sure your status still shows approved, your documents are still attached, and nothing has reset or disappeared. This sounds unnecessary, but it's catching real problems. App updates, system refreshes, and profile sync issues have been quietly removing uploaded photos or reverting forms back to pending. Doing this check while you're still at home gives you time to fix anything without panic. Waiting until embarkation day doesn't. This one simple step has saved people from showing up fully packed, only to find out the system changed its mind overnight. Bonus tip 2. Use a desktop or tablet for check-in, not your phone. A lot of 2026 check-in problems start with phones. Mobile apps often auto-crop photos, compress images, or time out mid-upload without warning. Everything looks fine until it isn't. Doing digital check-in on a desktop or tablet gives you more control. You can clearly see photo edges, lighting, and text before submitting, and you're far less likely to trigger a silent rejection. It takes the same amount of time, but it removes a huge number of errors that stop people at the terminal. If you can, save your phone for travel day and do your check-in on a bigger screen. Bonus tip 3. Screenshot and print backups even if you think you won't need them. In 2026, relying on one device is risky. Apps crash, batteries die, Wi-Fi gets overloaded at ports, and when that happens, everything slows down. As soon as you're approved, screenshot your Set Sail Pass QR code, your approval status, and your booking details. Save them to your phone so they're available offline. Then print at least one copy and keep it with your passport. This isn't about being paranoid. It's about staying calm while everyone else is scrambling. The cruisers who move through embarkation smoothly are the ones who plan for tech to fail. Bonus tip 4. Arrive earlier than your assigned check-in time. In 2026, arriving late doesn't just mean a longer line. It can mean extra scrutiny. When terminals get busy, staff have less time to help with small issues, and late arrivals are more likely to be pulled aside for secondary checks. Showing up a little earlier gives you breathing room. If something minor needs fixing, you still have time before boarding windows tighten. If everything is perfect, you move through faster and start your cruise calmer. Early arrival isn't about waiting longer, it's about giving yourself margin when the system isn't flexible. Bonus tip 5. Don't assume loyalty status gives you flexibility. This one surprises a lot of frequent cruisers. In 2026, loyalty status doesn't override digital check-in rules. Even top-tier members are being denied when something in the system isn't approved. Many experienced cruisers take risks because they've never had a problem before. That mindset is exactly what's getting people stopped now. The computer doesn't care how many cruises you've done or what perks you usually get. Everyone goes through the same system, the same scans, the same approvals. Treat every cruise like it's your first. Follow the steps exactly, and you'll avoid the problems that are catching even the most loyal passengers. Bonus tip 6. If you're traveling as a group, verify each person individually. This one catches families and groups all the time. One person completes check-in, gets approved, and assumes everyone else is fine too. They're not. In 2026, every single passenger is checked separately. One missing selfie, one incomplete health form, or one document error can delay or stop the entire group at the terminal. Before travel day, open the app and confirm that each name shows approved, not pending, or incomplete. Don't assume. Don't rush past it. Groups that check individually move through embarkation smoothly. Groups that don't are the ones pulled aside while the ship keeps boarding. Bonus tip 7. Check your check-in again the morning you leave. This sounds excessive, but it's saving people in 2026. On the morning you leave for the port, open the app one last time and confirm everything still shows approved. Some systems refresh overnight. Occasionally, a document glitches, a photo detaches, or a status flips back to pending without any alert. Catching that at home is very different from discovering it at the terminal. If everything still looks good, screenshot it again, grab your printed backup, and head out knowing you've done everything right. This final check gives you peace of mind, and that's something a lot of cruisers don't have on embarkation day anymore. Cruising in 2026 isn't harder, but it is less forgiving. Digital check-in has made embarkation faster when everything works and brutally stressful when it doesn't. The good news is, every problem you've heard about today is avoidable if you know what to look for and when to check it. Do things early, double-check everything, and never assume the system will fix itself. If this video helped you, make sure you subscribe, because these rules keep changing, and missing one update can cost you an entire cruise. And let me know in the comments, what part of digital check-in makes you the most nervous right now? Happy cruising!